This is important, and I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on this.
I oppose the Oxford comma.
Why do you oppose the Oxford comma? I'm turning
Really?
red. This is my justice rash. Yeah.
So it's like this. When I was first learning to use punctuation, we're talking the late 60s, I intuitively used the Oxford comma because indeed it makes perfect sense.
Doesn't it?
And I remember my father of blessed memory telling me, you don't put a comma there because in American usage, and I am an American, we do not use the Oxford comma. And in fact, the Oxford comma is not only more logical, it prevents a great deal of confusion, but it's not the way I've been writing lo those many years. And when I see it, I find it jarring. I'm waiting for another thing in the list after that comma. In other words, I'm used to the American style. Let me ask you something. Would you not agree that compared to the imperial system of weights and measurements, that the metric system is immensely more rational and less prone to causing confusion? It's also modular. The beauty of the metric system is that it's like the empirical truth about the world that we live in. And yet, what American goes around talking about kilometers and litras? If I had a heritage that was consistent with the use of the Oxford comma, I would defend it to the death. I realize that there are some ideas that will not outlive me. This may be one of them. I might be the last one standing. He really is pink. My God.
I forgive you.
That is beautiful.
I forgive you. And we can move on. And the only reason I can forgive you is because you admit that you're wrong, but that it is a preference that you have developed over time. I can deal with as long as I understand.
But there is no, I don't see how there could possibly be an argument from utility. It doesn't make any sense. Commas now and Old English. Well, actually, Allegan News, I got to tell you, I have been fighting very hard in the New Jersey courts for a requirement that we utilize Norman French for all, at least for pleadings. And I'm getting nowhere. We've got a question here.
So you're a fan of the comes now?
No, it's ridiculous. I'm an old-fashioned guy, if you haven't picked that up. I go for formality. When I have to appear before an appellate court, you know, you're supposed to say, may it please the court. It sticks in my throat.
I hate it.
May it please the court. I have a fucking right to get up here and argue my case. I know it's not going to please you. I hate that phrase. You know what I do like, though? Hear ye, hear ye.
I do like that. And I also like yay or nay.
Okay, so I'm going to let you, as the advocate for the Oxford comma, explain to Storm Crow, who is paying $10 to ask this question. Got to respect that.
Yes.
Explain the Oxford comma.
You need to show John Duncan's super chat first because it is the opposite of the Oxford comma. We'll come back.
John Duncan.
What we are doing with the Oxford comma is we are creating in the listing of items a separation on the last conjunctive item. For example, I like strawberry, comma, Oreo, comma, chocolate, comma, vanilla, comma, and maple ice cream. If instead I were to say, I like strawberry, comma, Oreo, comma, chocolate, comma, vanilla, comma, pistachio, and maple ice cream without that final comma, you would naturally think that maple and pistachio ice cream are combined, that is one conjunctive unit in a list.
So what our founding fathers decided when they threw off the yoke of the British tyrant was that well-educated Englishmen, such as ourselves, would know, in a sentence that says, please bring me a pencil, eraser, and notebook, that there's no such thing as eraser and notebook. The problem is with the pistachio, that's not always the case. Sometimes there is a cereal, you know, and it's like algebra.
In other words, cream. You would put cookies and cream. And if you wanted to use the Oxford comma in that place, it wouldn't seem as natural to your defense because you would be saying, I like strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream.
Randall, you are very generous and your gratitude is appreciated.
Thank you, Randall. But pull up the Second Amendment because that is where the Oxford comma shines.
Oh, this is what I saw in this girl, folks.
Because you had mentioned our forefathers throwing off the yoke of oppression and the British government, and here's a perfect example. A well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to secure of a free state, to being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What does this mean? It means that there is a separation between a well-regulated militia, which is necessary for the security of a free state, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms. So rather than making the right of the people to keep and bear arms connected to the first part of the statement, for those two things to be separate, you must include these commas. If our founding fathers had indeed intended for these things to be connected, they would have reworded it, but they didn't. They included this extra comma here to separate these two separate items so that they're not to be confused. My chat knows how much I love the Oxford comma. The appeals courts have confirmed that I am right.